Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 12 of our English 3020 online course. Man, it's almost hard to believe that we're already in week 12. In some ways, this semester seems to have flown by. And then in some other very real ways, it feels like it is plodding along. But I'm regardless, super happy to be here with you guys and to talk about all the things that we have going this week. You guys are in the midst of drafting up your sections for your final Project 3 ethnographic essay. And I've had some great conversations with many of you via Zoom appointments through office hours. I'm really excited about so many of the projects that I've been talking with folks about. I think they're really coming together. In this week's video, I have a couple of announcements that I want to share with you guys. Then I want to look at our week's activities, as usual. And then towards the end, I want to speak a little bit about the section of the ethnography that you are drafting this week, which is your results section. And then I'll close out this video. So really quickly, first of all, I just have a couple of announcements. I'll look at my paper and make sure I'm saying them in the right order. Okay, big exciting thing. In a couple of weeks, our sections of English 3020 are going to be participating in the semi-annual writing showcase. Some of you have had me before, and so you know how excited I get about this event. It's really awesome. It's for every section within our comp program that is a CLC section, so that means Composition Learning Community, like we've talked about. You guys have peer mentors who are working with you, who have taken me before, who have knowledge of the course that you're in, and that's part of being in the composition learning community. Another part of being in the composition learning community is that we all participate at the end of the semester in the writing showcase. And because times are weird and pandemic-ish, we are going to be participating in an online showcase. Now, if you were my student in the winter of 2020, you know that we already piloted an online showcase due to COVID-related shutdowns, and it went really well. It was really awesome. We interacted online via Facebook Live, and it was super fun. Taking that experience, we've kind of retooled and thought of some new ways that we can have everybody engage all together online. So we will likely be hosting it on Zoom so that everybody can participate. We will likely have some breakout rooms and some other ways that you guys can interact with each other. The main thing is that the spirit of the writing showcase remains the same. And the spirit of the writing showcase is for us to come together as a community of writers, people who are in composition here at Wayne State, and we're going to talk about the stuff that we've worked on and learned this semester, and we're going to have some laughs, and we're going to showcase some of our writing, hence the name Writing Showcase. And it's going to be awesome. And you'll be able to meet other instructors who are teaching other classes. You'll be able to hobnob with a bunch of other students, albeit virtually. And it's just going to be an awesome time. So make sure that you mark in your calendars. I'm pulling out my planner just so that I make sure I tell you the right date. Friday, December 4th. From noon to 2, we will be having the writing showcase. It's, like I said, going to be an awesome time. Now, if you'll recall, this is an aspect that has been in your syllabus since the beginning of the semester. So before anyone has too many heart palpitations, go back to your syllabus. You can look at the points breakdown for the semester, and you'll see that this is maybe one of the easiest ways for you to get points all semester long. Just for showing up and for participating in the showcase, I'm going to give you 70 points. Sprinkle like I'm a points fairy. And it's going to be, like I said, a lot of fun, super rewarding. You will get easy points for it. And participation is the main way. So that 70 points gets distributed, broken into 2 chunks. You'll get 30 points for participating in terms of producing something or giving some of your work from the semester that we can post and talk about. The other 40 points is literally just for showing up and for being a part of the writing showcase just for one of those 2 hours. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email and we can talk more about it, but mark on your calendars and in your brains, Friday, December 4th, the writing showcase. It's happening. It's going to be awesome. I will be posting a few little brainstorm discussion threads for us to kind of chat together in our separate sections and think about what you guys want to put together in terms of whatever presentations you do. And I will be posting a follow-up video kind of describing the showcase and letting everybody know what to expect in more detail. So that's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2, one of the things that came up in our MAP, our midterm assessment project feedback that you guys gave me, which again was so valuable and I'm really grateful for, is that folks wanted more opportunities to talk to me and get feedback on your writing before you turn it in. And I think that's a great idea. Frankly, it's something that I wish I had been doing more just due to COVID conditions. I haven't been as on my game with that. So here's what I'm going to do. In response to your feedback, and because it is just a good idea in general, I'm going to be making myself available for office hour appointments to talk about your ethnographies next week. And even I'm open to having appointments this week. Now, this is maybe a little silly because I'm always available for office hours appointments, but I think the difference here is that I'm announcing here in this video, guys, please come talk to me about your drafts. I will make an appointment with you. We can open up, we can share screen and look at your draft and kind of walk step by step through your paper as it is right now or next week or whatever. I would really love that because the more feedback that we can get on our writing, the better informed we are as we make revisions, right? So shoot me an email if you'd like to set up an appointment to go through your paper or to get feedback, even if you only have a section or two, like to the place that you want me to look at it. I would be happy to do that and give you guys feedback. So that's announcement number 2. Now we need to switch over to our Canvas view so I can talk to you about the assignments this week. Okay, so here we are. It's week 12. As you can see, we have this week and next week, and then your digital ethnography will be done, and you'll have it turned in. And I will have a nice juicy stack of them to grade. This week, we have just 2 real assignments due, right? As opposed to what? Fake assignments? I don't even know. Anyway, you have your Reflection Journal 12 and you have your draft of your results section. So if we look in here in our overview, this week, just one video to watch, at least in here. What I'm going to do is I actually found a really great video about qualitative analysis. The instructor's talking about interview, but everything he's saying is applicable to field notes as well. So I'm going to post that here and in the announcement. So keep your eyes peeled for that. In terms of reading, keep reading your sources, keep looking at your field notes. If you want to look at that hyper data analysis chapter, you can. There's a lot in there that has to do with hyperlinking, with coding, with particular kinds of software. I'm not advocating that you do any of that. If you're interested in looking at, if you have any visual data, like if you want to look at any pamphlets or aspects that are visual from St. Vincent Sarah Fisher, there's some stuff in that chapter about those topics. So that might be useful to you. So this is just sort of as needed. It's not required reading at all. What is required reading is definitely looking at your classmates' results drafts. And along with reflection journal 12 and your own results draft, commenting. So remember that we're trying to keep a really high standard with our comments of looking at all 3 levels of concern. So higher order concerns like big picture stuff, middle order concerns, paragraph level stuff, lower order concerns, sentence level stuff. And we want to also be posing a question, at least one question, to our friends. And you need to do that for 2 classmates. So that way, whatever feedback you get can help you revise more substantially and more effectively. So basically the breakdown for the week will be something like, by Wednesday, have watched this video, which you're already doing, Air 5. Just keep reading your field notes and your sources that you found at the library. Keep searching if you need to keep searching. Make sure you're reading your classmates' results sections and giving them good feedback by Sunday. Write your own results draft, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So it's hopefully not a super heavy week. And some of you are just kind of cruising along with your tutoring hours. Some of you are playing a bit of catch up in that area. So wherever you're at in terms of your volunteer work for St. Vincent Sarah Fisher, carry on. I did, on that note, actually, let me pull back to the full view and then I'll say what Okay, so tutoring. Some of you have been feeling a little nervous about your tutoring hours, and I had been responding to several people about that 15-hour minimum threshold of volunteering with St. Vincent Sarah Fisher. And I had been responding, and if you've received this email from me, you know that it's true, that I'm like, I think it was 12 to 15. I think there's a range of hours, and if you just have 12, it's fine. Well, I was double checking the syllabus today, and it does indeed say 15 hours. However, because my misremembering or maybe failed revision attempts, in my brain I had 12 to 15 hours. So I just want you guys to know that that is a revision in terms of the syllabus and in terms of the semester. 12 to 15 hours of volunteer work for St. Vincent Sarah Fisher will be completely fine. So if you only have 12 hours, you're good to go. So that's that. Hopefully that de-stresses some folks. All right, let's talk about your field notes for a second, because they are your source of primary data, right? So we've talked about primary versus secondary research, and secondary research is looking at the articles that other people have written, doing that library searching and evaluating and sort of synthesizing what other people are saying about the topic that you're interested in. Primary data is when you actually do the research yourself. You conduct the study, you conduct the observations, you conduct the survey, the interviews, the experiment, yada yada, and then you analyze the results. That's what we're doing this week. We're looking at our field notes to analyze the results. Now, the video that I posted in the announcement and in the weekly overview, like I said, even though he's talking about interview data, every single step he mentions is useful for field notes. Glancing over all of the notes, then reading them line by line, making notes about things that stick out to you, surprise you, kind of come up on a repeating pattern. And then the process that he describes for what is called coding, or indexing is another way to say it, but where you look for patterns and then you start to give them language, a name, a tag, a label. Oh, I'm seeing lots of instances where I'm writing about my tutee's behavior. So maybe whether it's, positive, negative, maybe I have one category for like positive behavioral instances, negative or neutral behavioral instances. So then you start to have categories, so you aren't actually like copying word for word what's in your notes. Rather, you're translating it into what bucket would you pop it into if you had buckets to sort. Basically, that's what you're doing. You're sorting your field notes to see if you can suss out any meaningful patterns in what you wrote down. So that's what you're doing this week. You can sort and create and sort of mention these patterns in lots of different ways. You can translate your qualitative data into numbers, right? So, okay, I had 12 instances of positive behavior and 7 instances of negative behavior, 2 instances of neutral behavior, right? And so then you can start to see what's more prevalent, if a thing that we thought was a problem is actually a problem, or if it's maybe not as much of a problem as we thought. That's what you start to make meaning out of. Now, the trick is that when you're presenting your results, you're just presenting the codes, the data, the what happened. And then, sort of in your discussion conclusion section, that's where you make meaning out of them and sort of say why you think your results are there. So that's just a trick to keep in your mind when you're writing up your results drafts this week. It's a just the facts, ma'am situation. You're just going to write down what you saw, what you wrote down in your field notes, and what you coded in those field notes, or how you sorted out your field notes, if you see what I mean. Next week, when you're writing your conclusion and your introduction, in your conclusion discussion section, that's where you talk about what it might mean or why it might be important, whatever it is you find in your field notes. Does that make sense? For more on this, check out the YouTube video that I put in the announcement, and I also am going to post it in the week 12 overview. If you have any specific questions that are, narrowed down to your particular project, please feel free to shoot me an email. Or you can always ask one of your peer mentors to see if they have got some feedback for you as well. Okay, I think that's all I have for you this week. Hope everyone's having a lovely autumnal, super productive, and at least moderately peaceful week. I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye, everybody.